Shalom, my Aunt Hotep. Namaste. Free the land, beloved. Come on in, come on in, come on in. My name is Vicki Dillard, and I'm a proud contributor right here on FlyNubianQueenTV.com, the network. Y'all say it with me. For melanated people just like you, welcome, welcome, welcome to the broadcast. We're so pleased that you have joined us today. Just a little bit of housekeeping before we get started, beloved. Welcome, 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 welcome. We're so glad that you're here. I'm your sister with the curly braids, the girl from Mississippi that now lives in the Wild Wild West. Somebody talk black to me. Beloved, we have a most important conversation today about Black liberation and the topic of what's due to us, our most righteous and just justice claim, that is reparation. Somebody talk black to me. I'm looking forward to our conversation and providing a bit of insight. I just want to let any possible trolls or any folk that are moved by affected emotions and connections to personalities around this topic, I want to let you know that there is one party I believe in having real strong during the show. And that is a block party if you're going to be disruptive. Now, a lot of times y'all know I welcome the trolls, but you're going to have to listen today. Talk black to me, because what I'm talking about is very important. Big shout out to our moderators in the digital building. They're highlighted in blue. And I want you to keep in mind that throughout the broadcast, our moderators highlighted in blue in the chat, they're going to be providing us important links and information. So please take note of that throughout the broadcast with you. I'm going to try my best to keep it today's a very brief war briefing, because I'm coming off an amazing high from this past Saturday's male-female relationship secrets. It was so wonderful. You all showed up big time. It was absolutely amazing. The feedback, the response was great. So thank those of you for showing up. If you missed it, and again, this was a webinar for male-female relationships, whether that's a romantic relationship, a platonic relationship, or a familial relationship. These are for a number of different type of male-female dynamics. It was amazing. You can catch the replay at flynubianmastermind.com, flynubianmastermind.com. You want to go to flynubianmastermind.com to catch the replay of this past weekend's amazing webinar. It was just glorious. It was insightful. It was prophetic. And I want to say this too. I want to thank my brother again, Derek Jackson, for showing up and showing out. And again, for those of you that didn't understand, why did Vicki have this connection? Why did Vicki allow Derek Jackson to come on? Family, God is in the details. I've told you that before. God is in the nuance. What does that mean? That means that because you are watching, as some of you mentioned, a blogger's report on him, or a snippet of a partial conversation that he may have had about a particular, his own personal situation, that's not the end of the story. And I'm somebody who doesn't just deal with just what you consider to be obvious problems. I ride for people that were former felons. I ride for black folk that white folk don't want, that white folk don't like, and that other black folk that disrespect other black folk want to throw away. God is in the nuance. God is in the details. Everything is not just clear cut. And because the issues between the male and female dynamic is bigger than just natural contention, natural tension, natural challenges, there's a spiritual element. That was the purpose of me doing this webinar. I had a lady come on my platform today talking about some stuff related to that. And she's saying, well, I didn't, something to the effect of, well, I didn't know Vicki wasn't going to let me disagree. What are you talking about, slowness? I don't suffer from so low self-esteem because somebody disagrees with me. But you got to understand, I've already dealt with some of these conversations, and I'm past that. My event wasn't about you all running your mouth about some clip that a blogger is talking about. This was about the black man and the black woman coming together for a meeting of the minds while we're in the middle of an almost 500-year war. This was about us understanding that it is only the black family that can correctly be the defense against this system of white supremacy. If we're in a macro war of white supremacy and the black men and the black woman are fighting each other, it's best that we come sit down and talk about it. And as our brother told us during his time with us, he wasn't coming there to boss us around. He said he was coming to testify and to speak about his own experience. It's one thing for you not to want to attend. That don't make me any, never mind. It's another thing for you all to run your mouth and to disrespect it and to talk crazy and to not think more deeply about it. I don't care who it is. We as a people are more than what meets the eye. You all know that's what I stand for. I do a spiritual course. I've been doing spiritual courses for years on social media. Our issue is not just because someone did this or that or what you said. Did you know he did this? And some of you that's running your mouth, you got a wild past that ain't nobody told on yet. And some of you got a wild present. And some of you hadn't even heard his full-throated side. And it wasn't even about his quote-unquote side. It was bigger than that. As I said, this was spiritual. This had to do with the meeting of the minds of us getting together while we're trying to simultaneously fight our open enemy. So funny looking self. Y'all gave more credence to some gossip and blog and some other miscellaneous natural conversation versus your sisters and my spiritual and metaphysical perspective on stuff. You wasn't even there to know what it was about. You got a messed up life, messed up husband, messed up wife, messed up children, messed up everything, messed up, messed up, messed up. Your family life with your mama messed up, your daddy, stepdaddy messed up, and you gonna sit up here and just start talking reckless. I told your funny looking self I ain't no YouTuber. You can address regular YouTubers like that. Trying to bully me and and you just go sit your funny looking self down. Your messed up life, messed up everything, and ain't nothing right in your life. Kids messed up, toe up, you can't even get that together. Wasn't even at the event to know what it was about. And I made it clear that this was bigger than just romantic relationships. This was about familiar relationships. This was about platonic relationships. We're at war and y'all don't even want me to sit down and talk to the people. Come on, somebody. The black man and the black woman is at war. You don't even want me to sit down and talk to my own brother if you don't go sit your funny looking self down. Have that conversation over there with somebody else. Nobody gonna beg no grown up. This ain't nobody trying to compel you to be a part of something you don't want to be a part of. But don't register your madness for the world to see. Funny looking self. Meanwhile, half of a lot of the criticism too, women and men, and you brothers got the nerve to talk about how somebody's trying to attack the black man. Y'all talking about they trying to silence the black man. You talking about how y'all under attack, but y'all was the main ones running your mouth. Somebody black under attack. Funny looking self. Like, if those of you who want to, you can get the replay at flynubianmastermind.com while it's available. Flynubianmastermind.com. It was amazing. And I'm dropping metaphysical spiritual jewels to let you know some of the other things, the other reasons why the black man and the black woman are at war. And all of them are not just natural things. They're invisible forces. They're invisible impacts that have to do with the fight between us. Now, let me get ready to get into this conversation about Yvette Carnell and Marc Lamont Hill's funny looking interview on reparations. I'm just trying to be clear. Y'all got me mixed up. You go somewhere else with that mess. There's a lot of haters out there that you can enjoy yourself on their platforms. And some of you that watch me anyway, what I be hearing, y'all be over there in them other people's comments, kiki and cacking and laughing and just go on over there with your funny looking self. Talk black to me. Talking about the black men under attack, and y'all the main ones on my page. And the only reason why you on my page is because you mad that there was a standard for black women. That's the only reason. And the half of y'all that was talking about it, you in love with the Kevin Samuels and other people that make you feel like you can get off the hook. I don't care what you say. I don't care how many times you try to make me think it's otherwise. Who you think you talking to? Your little tricknology responses ain't finna run nothing up in here. I'm somebody that sees invisibly, fool. But that's all I'm going to say about that right now. Talk black to me. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Share, share, share. Now, let me get on into this. Instagram, come on over to flytobequeentv.com, please, because I need to use this advice right now, Instagram. I know I was fussing, but y'all get ready to come on over because I'm getting ready now to get into my commentary on Marc Lamont Hill and Yvette Carnell. For those of you who don't know, Yvette Carnell is one of the hashtag co-founders of what's known as ADOS, American Descendants of Slaves. I've done several shows in the past about that and it. And so today we're going to briefly talk about what impact this has on our Black agenda of reparations and our justice claim. We're going to set a few things straight, and I'm going to remind you of things that I feel are important to add to this conversation related to their recent interview. So come on over Instagram to flytobequeentv.com. Thank you. By the way, family, you can follow me on Instagram at Vicki X Dillard. You can follow me on Instagram at Vicki X Dillard. Now, while I post this, family, do me a big, big favor, would you? While I post this, do me a big favor. On the count of 3, for those of you that haven't, please hit that thumbs up button. On the count of 3, for those of you that haven't, please hit that thumbs up button and share, share, share. At the bottom of your screen, there should be a share button. There should be a share button. Are y'all hearing me today? There should be a share button. You can copy the share button and you can paste the share button, the share button's link on social media. So I don't care if you got 5 people, 50 people, 500, 5,000 people following you. You never know whose life you might impact when you make a good faith effort to share on your different social media platforms. So on the count of 3, I want you to share, 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 thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3, thumbs up. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Thank you so very much. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Share, share, share. Okay, let me get ready to read this disclaimer. Y'all know how we do on the Vicki Show. We follow the rules on the Vicki Show. I know y'all are probably surprised to see me on time today, because I know last week I was going different times. I was doing a very brief war briefing, but thank you all so much for your patience. I told you because of medical appointments or different things that's interrelated there too. Sometimes my scheduling is off. And so I know some of you were saying, Vicki, you're back. Well, beloved, I told you, always check. Some of you did. Always checking to look for my podcast for the day. If you notice that I didn't come on during my normal time, okay? Thank you all so, so very much for doing that. Now, let me get right on into this without further ado, because I don't want to make this unnecessarily long. Okay, let me get ready to set this up. Right? Yes. Thank you so much for your patience. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Now, you all know, like I said, we like to do what we do, cross every T, dot every I. Now, how many of you all know that this whole conversation about reparations has taken on new life? It's gained an extreme amount of traction because of us. Somebody say us. Because of us. When I say us, I'm talking about BGR, Black Grassroots. I'm talking about those of us in particular that are members of Black society, that primarily get our information from folk from places like this, the Vicki Show, and who are not fooled by mainstream white media's bones and biscuits. When I'm saying mainstream media's bones and biscuits, I'm talking about white people's Black people. I'm talking about Black looking people, Black people who've been handpicked by white people to be their spokespersons and to speak their agenda. They've been handpicked to be what we call controlled opposition. That is to say, when you will see Angela Rye on CNN, which I don't know if she's struggling with them or not, because I noticed that she's been on here and there, MSNBC lately. When you see Joy Reid, Don Lemon, and those kinds of people, Van Jones and them, when you see them, and sometimes you'll see them going in on white supremacy, and really not so much white supremacy as much as racism, or you'll hear them talk about police reform, or you'll hear them seemingly say something pro-Black and anti-white. White folk pick certain safe Black people. In some circles, they call them the Black Boule, Roland Martin, all those kinds of types. They don't mind giving you the impression that they are disagreeing with racism. But white folks know that they can trust these stepping fetchers because they know they will only give the impression that they're against something, but they'll turn around in the same breath and push support for the establishment. Are y'all hearing me today? Manufacture, these are front people, like a front group, somebody that they just put out there. But baby, these are what I call acceptable resistance. These are people that look like they're disagreeing with white supremacy. These are people that look like they're opposing the members of the oppressive class and oppressive system. But again, it's meant to trick you so that you will have, white folks know we don't believe them no more. White people know they have no credibility with us. So if you want somebody not to recognize them operating in your midst, what do? Let me ask that question again. If you're trying to trick somebody, if you're trying to deceive someone, what do you do when you are trying to accomplish that? Talk Black to me. You get somebody that looks like us, right? So that we will put faith and trust in the individuals that seem like they are us. These tools. But because we've identified these spies among us, these tares among wheat, these fakes and these phonies, these white people's Black people, they can no longer operate masquerading as being one of us. You've heard the biblical story warning that there's a such things as what? Wolves among sheep. You've heard that there's a such things as false prophets. So you're immature if just because you see somebody Black, you automatically give them credit amongst you and say, oh, well, they Black too. Y'all hit that thumbs up button. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, family. Thumbs up, share, share, share. Now, let me get on to this. Let me get to my point. Because like I said, I really don't want to unnecessarily prolong this. Let me clear this off. Try to use this paper towel this time so I don't have those little Kleenex dots on this. Now, I want you to see something here. This is what I posted today on my Instagram page. This is what I posted on Instagram. And it says, Marc Lamont Hill and Yvette Carnell make shocking reparations comments. Now, by the way, this is Marc Lamont Hill. Marc Lamont Hill was fired from CNN. He used to be on Fox News and some of these other white corporate platforms, right? Well, now he's on this network called BNC. It's a mostly social media network. Now, BNC stands for Black News Channel, I believe, right? I believe the BNC stands for this notion of a Black news channel. Now, BNC is run, this is the financier behind it. This is the money man behind it. Y'all see him? This is the money man behind it. Shahid Rafiq Khan. He's a Pakistani-American billionaire, businessman, and sports tycoon. Just a little bit about him. He's the owner of the Flexen Gate, an American automotive company. He's the owner of Jacksonville Jaguars of the NFL, and co-owner of All Elite Wrestling. He's got some other little, what some of us consider to be shady connections as well. So this is the fellow that put up the money behind the network that Marc Lamont Hill and them are on. Now, mind you, the Marc Lamont Hills and other little political talking heads that got the little jobs on Fox and CNN and MSNBC, they like to make fun of folk like us who use alternative media, but at the same time, they're sitting over here trying to be like us and try to take our talking points and then coming on social media to try to take over. Somebody talk black to me. Here's the other guy, Robert John Brillanti. Y'all see this? He's one of two. Let me get this off my finger. He's one of two of the top folk that run this network. And then they got this brother who's a Republican who has something to do with the idea of it or whatnot, but this is who he's working with. Now, this Robert white guy named, this white man here, Robert, it says here, was a cable television manager and executive. Watch this. A former partner in the now defunct Florida's news channel. He's currently the chief executive officer of the Black News Channel. Do y'all see that, family? I want y'all to see that. This white man is the chief executive officer of BNC. So that's who little Marky Mark. Y'all remember the little name we gave Mark the last time we were together? Huh? What's Mark's little name? What's Mark's little name? Y'all remember Mark's little name? Lamusty. Y'all talk black to me. He interviewed Yvette Carnell. Yvette Carnell, family, again, the co-founder of the hashtag ADOS. So Lil Musty interviews Yvette right there, right? Now let's get to this interview. Now, some of you all are not familiar, or you may be ignorant to the truth of Yvette Carnell and ADOS and them. I am not against, and I'm not here to bring division against our people. There are some people that identify as ADOS. I don't get into all of that, family. There are some that go by FBA standing for Foundational Black Americans. The original name of some elders that started this notion of a specific group of Black folks that's entitled to a justice claim was DOAS. They existed before ADOS. DOAS meaning descendants of American slaves. DOAS, descendants of American slaves. Whether you go by ADOS, American Descendants of Slaves, I'm down if you're down for Black folks getting reparations. However, there have been some that have purported to be among us that have establishment ties and that undermine Black folk and the Black agenda, purporting to be about that life. Someone even said, Vicki, are you going to bring up the fact that Yvette Carnell disrespected Dr. Frances Cress Welsing again? Well, she apologized for that. Let me tell your funny looking self something. Yvette Carnell sometime back slandered me. After Yvette Carnell asked that a particular Black social media person, her and Tone, demanded that a particular Black media person not be included in the Black reparations conversation, I asked that we unify. I did a show simply asking that we unify and that we include as many of our Black brothers and sisters who are interested in reparations as possible. When I asked for that, Yvette Carnell started to circulate an FBI piece interrelated to my past case. She literally took an FBI link and started circulating it on her platform. Because I did not disrespect her, I called for unity. Then I noticed that she would continuously disrespect Black folk. I didn't say disagree. I said continuously disrespect Black folks, like Dr. Frances Cress Welsing. She and Marc, Lamont Hill both have in common that they disrespected Dr. Frances Cress Welsing upon learning that she died. They both have the reputation of disrespecting or denouncing basically Minister Farrakhan and other Black elders. Yvette Carnell has also done what I consider to be hit pieces on Dr. Claude Anderson. So you silly knuckleheads that's sitting up here saying, well, if that's okay with you, then go over to that camp. But if Dr. Claude Anderson, who has been fighting for reparations probably as long or longer than Yvette Carnell has been alive, and he's put tens of thousands of dollars behind it in the court system, our elder Dr. Claude Anderson, who wrote books about it and Black economics, if they're disrespecting our Black elders, I've got a problem with you. And yes, I got a problem with you if you disrespect me because I'm pro-Black, dummy. Now, I didn't get off into the fact that just because she's a lesbian or just because she dates white women. I was leaving all of that alone until we found out that there's a common denominator as to why, in my opinion, she and others keep attacking Dr. Claude Anderson and the Dr. Frances Cress Welsings. Because we know that Dr. Claude and Dr. Frances Cress Welsing have both called out the agenda to effeminize Black men and other agendas that are mostly and primarily pushed by the liberal left. You cannot say that you're for reparations one minute and then you disrespect someone like myself trying to push the fact of a prison record, an unjust prison record, and then turn around and attack prominent Black men who love Black people and who've put up their life and limb and dollars specifically for reparations and Black liberation. Only sheep ignore those patterns. So no, I'm not surprised that little musty Marc Lamont Hill was willing to have this interview. Now that I've said that, I wanted to set that up because some of you all, you just jump out there, you say stuff, you make assumptions, and you ain't even up on where I'm coming from with some of this stuff. Some of you didn't know this, and some of you shouldn't even have to know this. When you're thinking, hey, we're just on the same page, right, about reparations. No, there's some other stuff going on. And there's a reason Marc Lamont's funny looking musty self felt comfortable interviewing her. Now I want you to listen to some of their interview that they recently did on that alleged black network called BNC on social media. The CEO is a white man, and a Middle Easterner is the one that put up the money for this so-called black network. Talk black to me. Now let me get ready to cue it. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. I'm cueing it right now, family.
Black News Tonight. Yvette Carnell, the president of American Descendants of Slavery Advocacy Foundation, will discuss her organization's take on the payment due to Black Americans for over a century and a half. So much to be said about this idea of reparations. And it really comes down in many ways to whether you think Black folk deserve to have the damage done repaired. And there are many people at the forefront of this movement, but there's probably no movement more powerful, more vocal, and more influential in the conversation about reparations in the United States than that of ADOS. It's controversial, it's debated, it's contested, but it's absolutely one of the most important organizations going on. And so we wanted to have one of the founders of the organization, Yvette Carnell, join us here on Black News Tonight. Yvette, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me, Marc. I appreciate it.
Now, let me be clear. This is not a hit piece on Yvette Carnell or ADOS. Like I said, if you Black family are about a Black agenda of reparations and our justice claim, that's what this is about. However, I would be remiss not to point out some very important things that I think we need to keep in mind. Don't get upset because some of you all don't like it when y'all get mad when I don't show you the full video. Family, I'm just being extra cautious, crossing my T's, dotting my I's, for not just copyright purposes, but I like to go overboard with being careful and showing respect to the different platforms and the different channels. Do you understand? So I'm just letting you listen to some of the audio. And what I just showed you was just a picture instead of the video. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, family. Share, share, share. Now, again, you do not get to say and act like you are for Black people. And you got a whole bunch of other stuff going on. Now, I'm going to explain what I mean here in just a minute. I'm going to explain here what I mean in just a minute. Marc Lamont Hill just said that he wanted to have Yvette Carnell on because her organization is one of the most important. Listen.
And there are many people at the forefront of this movement, but there's probably no movement more powerful, more vocal, and more influential in the conversation about reparations in the United States than that of ADOS. It's controversial, it's debated, it's contested, but it's absolutely one of the most important organizations going on. And so we wanted to have one of the founders of the organization, Yvette Carnell, join us here on Black News Tonight.
Okay, now to be clear, it might have evolved into an organization, but when we were supporting it, it was a little hashtag. That's the reason why I always make the distinction that she is the founder, co-founder of the hashtag. When you claim to be a lineage, y'all better listen. When you claim that you are a part of a particular bloodline, you don't make it into a club. Now, for whatever reasons, I can understand her making it into a political thing or whatever. I'm just making it clear, family, that when they started, it was a hashtag. How many of you all use hashtags that other people use? The hashtag had nothing to do with just saying Yvette Carnell and Tone are responsible for putting reparations on the map, fool. We are the wind and the legs that got onto the agenda. We said we don't care about the fact that she's LBGT and sleeps with white girls. We said we don't care if funny Tone is strange. We said, okay, we're going to put that to the side if they about reparations for Black people. So in order for us to unify, we all collectively started to push the hashtag ADOS. Talk Black to me. Just like many people will use the hashtag Black media, many people use different kinds of hashtags. That's what it was about. That's what she was the foundress, co-foundress of. A hashtag. It turned into an organization. Again, that's fine. Why am I bringing this up? Because you cannot claim, I'm going to explain more in a minute. I'm calling her out, and I was one of the first, probably the first prominent Black media person to do it. Because she started to attack me, baby. She started to push an FBI link on me because I asked her to unify. So that made me look at you strange. I started looking at you strange when I see you attacking Dr. Claude Anderson, someone that's been for reparations and putting his money where his mouth is in court for many, many decades. I started looking at you strange when you was attacking other prominent Black men and women like Dr. Francis and like Minister Farrakhan. I didn't say disagree. I said attacked. Now, if you slow-minded turtles and sheep don't get that, then you need to go over somewhere else. Thumbs up, family.
Yvette, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me, Marc. I appreciate it.
Talk to me, first of all, about the current reparation policy proposals that are on the table. We see locally based things like in Evanston, Illinois. We see conversations about broader proposals. What's your sense of what the current policy landscape is?
I'm going to skip for just a second, family.
Can't allow people to kind of skirt this issue and do articles and say, well, we're doing a great thing. We're doing this thing in Evanston. And when you look at Evanston, it's...
Get it. So talk to me a little bit about ADOS's policy vision as it pertains to reparations.
Well, ADOS, the ADOS Advocacy Foundation, we are committed to cash payments. And we are committed to cash payments to a specific group of people, right? And those are American descendants of slavery. Now, we have a transformative Black agenda that includes all Black people. But in terms of reparations, those are the people that built the country and have been systemically, methodically oppressed since then. So you have to have a method, not only for cash payments, but for programs to protect that wealth. Because you can give wealth to a group of people, and then that money is plundered by white supremacy and super capitalists who would like nothing more than to take it away from us. So we have to have certain protections, but we absolutely have to have cash payments. And this absolutely has to be a federal government initiative in terms of how we do this and how we have outlays and appropriations and things of that nature. It has to happen that way.
Cash payments, how much are we talking?
I like to talk about it as a...
Now, I agree with what she's going to say a little bit about that just after that, starting at least 20 trillion as a beginning part and so forth. But let me go on further. Let me see.
Down payment.
$20 trillion. So, and it's an interesting number when you think about what happened during the pandemic, when American capitalism was on the brink, when Trump's presidency.
Let me stop this real quick because I want to bring some context to this. Thumbs up, family. Share. Listen, let me bring some context to this. Marc Lamont Hill is working for BNC. BNC is trying to get their numbers up. BNC purports to be a Black news channel that's run by white people and a Middle Eastern guy, right? Marc Lamont Hill has constantly done things to undermine Black folks by constantly trying to push alternative agendas and to amalgamate a strictly pro-Black agenda with everybody and everything else, right? Y'all better listen. So Marc Lamont Hill knows that we, the Black grassroots, are the ones that's responsible for the momentum and responsible for pushing reparations. It's not Roland hasn't been pushing reparations. Joy Reid hasn't been pushing reparations. Don Lemonade has not been pushing reparations. Van has not been pushing. We've been doing that. We've been so effective. When I say we, I'm talking about the Black grassroots, that you had Black media giants that use their name, credibility, and platforms to start pushing the hashtag ADOS just so that they could align themselves with the agenda for reparations for Black folk. Then you saw some of them start to call Yvette and Tone out when we realized that it appeared that there were multiple agendas going on. Somebody talk black to me. Now, Marc Lamont Hill is not having this conversation because he really cares about reparations. Marc Lamont Hill knows that we're the ones that's responsible for this momentum. Marc, in my opinion, chose her because she's LGBT, and Marc is LGBT proponent. LaBussy. Marc wants to feel at home with so-called black revolutionary conversations. Marc knows full well that there are also other black men who have been pushing reparations, but he's uncomfortable in those spaces. Because as some brothers have been calling him, he is in fact a Karen himself. So Marc he's got to be comfortable. So I want y'all to understand something. I'm bringing this up because I need y'all to understand something. Like Roland and like others, these people are pretending that they're pro-black. But at the same time, they're the same ones that's undermining our voices and trying to get us silenced. I was listening to Roland, Uncle Roro, that that unidentified rolling object. Do you all know that he and his guests are sitting on there talking about how people that are showing concerns for the jab, how the federal government needs to take it more serious? Do you all understand that these bootlick Negroes are actually pushing for the government to take more serious action against folks that have reservations? Do you all understand what I'm talking about? Do you all understand that Marc Lamont Hill knew all about reparations a long time ago? But while he was a big shot on CNN, he wasn't going to talk about it because Marc is trying to be a star. If they were really concerned about just reparations and they were concerned about black people, ask yourself, how is it that they keep ignoring you, the black grassroots? Just like Tamika Mallory and them, they are not connecting with millions of the black grassroots like us. But they're still leaving the door open for the racist Joe Biden who dogged black people and destroyed us in ways that nobody else has in recent history. They're still willing to sit down and talk to the Meghan McCains of the world and other white people that helped to destroy their careers and slandered them and lied on them. But they cut us off. Why? Because they're still trying to secure the biscuits. Marc is interviewing Yvette Carnell because he wants to feel comfortable in that alternative environment. While ignoring not even just me, but other black men in these spaces who have large platforms and who have been pushing this. Some of you may be saying, thumbs up, family, share. Some of you may be saying, well, Vicki, what do you mean? Give us an example that there are other members of black media that are responsible for pushing this issue. Again, it's not just about giving folks credit. I'm trying to explain to you the reason they're ignoring us is because they're putting these controlled opposition folk in place. Why? Because they know that they agree with certain establishment that we don't, and they know they all about the alternative, effeminate agenda. Watch this. How many of you all remember Tom Steyer? How many of you all remember Tom Steyer? Thumbs up, family. Y'all remember him? I'm trying to fix it so you can see his picture. Here we go. Y'all remember this guy running for president? Do you guys remember this fella running for president? This billionaire. Watch this. I'm gonna make it make sense. I'm gonna go back to the interview in just a second, but let me read you a little bit of this excerpt. This piece is from Meg Kennard. It's titled, "In South Carolina, Steyer Investing in Black Voters." Y'all see this headline? Thumbs up, family. Share. This show I'm doing today is not about a hit piece against Yvette Carnell or what have you. This is bigger, but I want to show you some stuff. Let my people think. Listen to what it says. In South Carolina, Steyer investing in Black voters. Remember, he was a Democratic presidential candidate. For those of you that may not remember, this is who he is again. Y'all see him? Y'all listen. In the waning weeks before South Carolina's presidential primary, Democrat Tom Steyer is renewing his focus on the Black voters who play a pivotal role in the first in the South state, rolling out a proposal to improve historically Black colleges and institutions. The efforts, Steyer said Tuesday, are part of what his administration would see as a holistic approach to addressing America's racial divides. Y'all listen. Over a decade, he proposes allocating $125 billion in federal funds to HBCUs, establishing a board of regents, and focusing on science, technology, engineering, and math. Now, Roland pretends he cares about HBCUs, but have you all asked Roland why he wasn't pushing for this fella? But listen. He says that this is the bridge to opportunity for these young people, Steyer said, noting he sought advice from leaders at HBCUs, including Clark Atlanta and South Carolina State University. It says that he's been working to make inroads in South Carolina, home to the first primary with a significantly Black electorate. The California financier and liberal activist has been endorsed by State Representative Jerry Govain, chairman of the state's legislative Black caucus. It goes on and on and on, right? Listen to what it says here. Listen to what it says. I want you to know I'm not making this up. Thumbs up, family. Share. Watch this. Quote. Somebody said, Stay Positive said, Vicki's going deep. Y'all know how I have to do it. Because see, some of y'all got me twisted. Y'all got me messed up. I know how to think deep. It says, quote, Tom Steyer said this. I know there's a simple line, which is cut the check. And what I would say is this. I know we have to get there. And the way that we get there is also very important, Steyer said. If you think about what I said today about HBCUs in terms of cut the check, candidly, that's a big check compared to what people are talking about. Who coined the phrase cut the check that this presidential candidate quoted twice in that one paragraph? Some of you may not know this. I'm going to say it again. And I'm not sitting here pushing one Black media person. I'm not about that life. Family, you guys got to understand, I don't need to name drop nothing. Somebody said me. No, I didn't coin the phrase. But somebody in Black media did. Let me read it again. Somebody just said it. Jason Black. Look at this quote. Some of you all didn't know that. Watch this. What does Tom Steyer, the presidential candidate that had the biggest megaphone, what did he say? Quote, I know there's a simple line which says, cut the check. And what I would say is this. I know we have to get there. And the way that we get there is also very important. If you think about what I said today about HBCUs in terms of cut the check, see, he says it again. Candidly, That's a big check compared to what people are talking about. Why am I bringing that up? One of our other Black brothers in social media, in Black conscious media, he got along with the ADOS hashtag and started pushing it. This was about reparations. This was about making a simple message, giving the world a simple message about a Black agenda, right? Cut the check. Little musty Marc Lamont Hill wants to act like BGR, other members of the Black grassroots, who have been teaching and pushing this, he's ignoring those. This is what I'm trying to get y'all to see. And I'm trying to tell you, it's a reason they're ignoring us. Do you understand now? Let me tell y'all something. Thumbs up, thumbs up. I just wanted to give y'all that little bit of insight because some of you all didn't know that. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. I brought that up because ADOS got traction because the Black grassroots unified around it. Folks wasn't worried about this one difference here, this one difference. It was like, okay, if you're saying you're about reparations for Black people, let's make it work. But I had a problem when she attacked me. I had a problem when she attacked Farrakhan. I had a problem when they was attacking Dr. Claude Anderson. I had a problem when y'all was attacking Dr. Francis Cress Welsing. You can't pretend like you really about that life and you are undermining our Black living legends and now our Black ancestors. And at the same time, while y'all did that, you were still sitting up here endorsing the establishment. Y'all was still telling us to vote even if we're not getting a promise for reparations. You were still doing shady little stuff. Like throwing out these other little miscellaneous agendas and stuff. Talk Black to me. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Again, this is not about a hit piece. I'm just giving you all facts. Watch this. Watch this. And I'm trying to tell you, ask yourself, why are they ignoring the very people that have the most influence? Why are they ignoring those individuals? And why are they picking others as our spokespersons? That's what I'm trying to get you to see today. Do y'all understand that? Watch this.
Looking shaky when the heads of multinational corporations were like, what are we going to do? They found $1 trillion real quick for America, right? So the idea of not being able to recover $20 trillion is somewhat less plausible than it was before, because there was time people, you almost sounded like Dr. Evil saying anything with a T in it, right? But now that amount of money doesn't sound crazy anymore to people. But for the person who asks, how do we get that money? Where does it come from? How do you sustain a budget? How do you sustain an economy while giving $20 trillion to a 13% of the people, really less than 13% of the people, if you're talking about ADOS lineage, right? How do you do that? What do you say to that person?
Now, I don't have an issue with this particular part of the conversation. I want to move it further, and I think let me see if I'm getting closer here, because Marc is just confused. I want y'all to keep in mind, Marc is trying to give this fake Black network, BNC, some views. So Marc is trying to talk about stuff we're talking about, but he's picking and choosing certain people. Safe, controlled opposition. What white people's Black people considers to be acceptable resistance, that's who they bring on.
We can do that. But the problem in America isn't how, because everybody found a way to give warm reparations, even though it wasn't on the level of ADOS. Everybody found a way to give Japanese Americans reparations, even though it's not on the level of American descendants of slavery. The problem that we have is not how do we do this. The problem that we have is people who don't believe that we should do this. And so I'm more than willing to enter into negotiations and conversations with people who are asking about the how, because the how is something we can figure out. It doesn't have to be, listen, you all, the country did this in a multi-generational way, and we can fix this in a multi-generational way. It doesn't have to all happen today, but it has to happen. And we can enter into that conversation with people of goodwill who want to see this happen. The problem that America has is that there are not enough people, and Martin Luther King Jr. said this himself about even liberals who just kind of tolerate us rather than want the best for us or want justice for us. We need to deal with those people and have an honest conversation with them, because I can figure out the how. The 20 trillion doesn't have to happen all in 2020, 2021 or 2022 or 2023. We can figure out a process, but it has to happen. And people have to be willing and have the will to do it.
One of the things that ADOS gets criticized the most for, and I've been critical of you, and you know this, I've told you directly, is the conversations that often emerge from people who identify as ADOS around nativism, right? There often becomes a discourse that emerges online from people with the ADOS hashtag. And I'm using that language very carefully because you've said to me before, that ain't us, right? You know, people may use the hashtag, that don't mean they represent us. But is there any room for a conversation, in your estimation, around how ADOS and its sort of commitment to talking about descendants of slavery may alienate people who come from other parts of the continent?
This is what makes Marc disgusting and funky and stanky and musty. Every time we talk about something specifically for Black folk, we ain't even got what's due to us. We're still under your foot right now, and you gotta always bring in other folk about making other folk feel comfortable. This is why you musty. This is why you stink, Marc.
2023, we can figure out a process.
Listen.
But it has to happen. And people have to be willing and have the will to do it.
One of the things that ADOS gets criticized the most for, and I've been critical of you, and you know this, I've told you directly, is the conversations that often emerge from people who identify as ADOS around nativism, right? There often becomes a discourse that emerges online from people with the ADOS hashtag. And I'm using that language very carefully because you've said to me before, that ain't us, right? You know, people may use the hashtag, that don't mean they represent us. But is there any room for a conversation, in your estimation, around how ADOS and its sort of commitment to talking about descendants of slavery may alienate people who come from other parts of the continent, may undermine?
Why is that our business? We're under 500 years of hell. We invented America, created America. We made the most powerful, the most richest country that ever existed in world history. And this fool want us to be worried about people that come over here to have the American dream off of our Black nightmare. Do y'all see why y'all see why he ain't no good for Black folk? Do you guys understand now why I can't stand them? Do you guys see why we can't get nothing for us while we're still in the same condition when Black looking people are always trying to slither and sneak in? Are y'all getting it now? Are y'all getting it now? Marc always brings up LGBT stuff. Now this fool bringing up, well, what about y'all be offending people from other countries? Fool, what is you talking about? The whole world is enjoying the American dream while we're under the foot of white supremacy and we can't even get reparations. Joe Biden took his little funky looking self in office. He done he's given the legal protections for people who are illegal aliens. People who are not citizens got legal protections, legislative protections, and we can't. Do y'all see what I'm talking about? Do you all understand? Do you see how they sneak and slither? 1 minute Marc is saying something about police brutality. 1 minute look, then he gonna bring somebody up here that look like they talking about Black reparations, but then he sneaks this in. Do you understand? Do you guys understand how they conflate Marc Lamont Hill and those of his ilk should be called the contaminator? The Black bootlegs should be called the contaminators. They want us who have been the burden bearers for America before America was even formally America. We were on this side of the waters. They want us to be the burden bearers for how other people feel. Are y'all understanding it now? Do y'all see why I keep going off? I know y'all be thinking, well, it look like they saying something good about black people. This funky looking. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Y'all know I'm a woman of the world. Y'all know I brag about being the mother of civilization. I'm on another network that's called African Diaspora News Channel that's reaching the world. Family, some of my greatest fans are black folk that live in different parts of Africa. I hear from black folks from the Caribbean. I hear from black folks throughout Europe. But on this specific issue of a justice claim that we're due, I don't mix that up because I have love and respect for my people throughout the diaspora. I don't hate my other brothers and sisters around the world because I'm very clear about what black folk in America are owed on this issue. But this little disgusting rodent slithering in, the contaminator.
A Pan-African agenda, or may kind of replicate, whether it's through the American flag imagery or through constantly talking about a certain kind of lineage.
Now let me stop real quick. Listen to this part. Finish listening to this and I'm gonna make one more point. Listen.
May use the hashtag, that don't mean they represent us. But is there any room for a conversation, in your estimation, around how ADOS and its sort of commitment to talking about descendants of slavery may alienate people who come from other parts of the continent, may undermine a Pan-African agenda, or may kind of replicate, whether it's through the American flag imagery or through constantly talking about a certain kind of lineage, almost replicate a certain kind of American nationalism?
Stop right there. Marc Lamont Hill is using language like American nationalism and nativism. Do you all know that those are the phrases that they use for white supremacists? He's using that same language and equating our demand for black folk in America getting reparations. He's equating us with white supremacists in America. Listen to the language of this disgusting, musty, dusty contaminator. Are y'all listening to your sister with the curly braids? I'm not making up nothing on Marc. When I said he was dangerous a long time ago, I meant that. And he knows I'm exactly right about it. That's right, Jackson. Black people don't do that. We have forgiven people who have blown off the heads of our loved ones before our loved ones were even buried. We walk amongst our 500-year-old tormentors and we don't take them all out. We are the most forgiving, the most loving, the most sympathetic, the most empathetic people on the planet. And you still got these funny looking Negroes that's demanding that we continue to be slaves to others. And they actually use language that they use for modern white supremacists with us. Marc Lamont Hill just had a hissy fit because Dr. Bill Cosby got justice. He had a hissy fit, telling the whole white world why he don't agree with everything with Minister Farrakhan. He twitching and twirling out there, trying to take all kind of other black men because he's a bussy. He's a whole bussy. And he's offended. He's mad because he's not comfortable in black masculine spaces. So we got to deal with this rolling tragedy. Y'all better understand this. Don't forget who are the pictures and the names that I just told you, who are a couple of the top heads that run BNC. A whole white man and a man from the Middle East. And most of them from the Middle East identify as white too. Don't ever get that twisted. Funny looking self.
Well, I think we have to make a sort of delineation, right? There's a difference between nationalism and nativism. We're proud of the country that we built. We're proud of the slaves who built the country. We are absolutely proud of our freedom struggle through Jim Crow, mass incarceration. We're proud that we're still here. So what I would say is we are absolutely have a right to be proud of what we built, right? The same way that a Jamaican American is absolutely proud of of their history of coming out of slavery. The same way a Haitian is absolutely proud of Toussaint L'Ouverture. We're proud in the same way, and you have to let us have that. We are a specific ethnic lineage. That's who we are. Now, there have been a lot of diaspora wars, but let me say this. A lot of those wars were not started by us. And a lot of those wars, we were defending ourselves. People call me the granddaughter of a cotton picker.
Now, she right on that. Funny looking self. She's right on that a lot of these other folks have been starting wars. There have been a lot of Black immigrants that come from the Caribbean, that have come from Africa, that come over here and start stuff. Y'all sitting up here getting mad because we didn't want that girl playing Aretha Franklin. We didn't like her playing Cynthia Erivo. We didn't want Cynthia Erivo playing Harriet Tubman. But it wasn't just because the girl wasn't a FBA, Foundation of Black American. Some of you say ADOS. But if you're saying it accurately, and if you all are giving credit to the people that was on the front lines with DOAS, Descendants of American Slave, whatever, you will understand it's not just because the girl she's a European African. We're tripping because Cynthia Erivo, along with our homegirl Lovey, by the way, blocked me on social media. Homegirl Lovey, they are on record as saying anti-Black stuff. Do you know that Cynthia Erivo was talking real greasy about those of us who are foundational Black Americans? Do you know that some of them call us Akatas and call us all kind of foreign names that's equal to the N-word and other disgusting slurs? I didn't know this about some of my Black brothers and sisters from the diaspora. I was talking to some Africans too. She had to finally, one of those ladies had to admit to me not too long ago too, they do get a conversation before they come over here not to fool with Black Americans. They do think they smarter than us. They do talk crazy to us and ride for their white mamas and daddies and their little zaddies and stuff. Talk Black to me. This information, some of us were shocked to know that some of them thought this about us. We thought we was all the same.
Right? People call me all sorts of names because I come from sharecroppers. And the problem that I have with a lot of Pan-Africanists is that they will look at me and say, oh my gosh, you have people behaving in ways that are unproductive. And I want to say, you have a lot of people who are behaving in another country. Meanwhile, we as ADOS see this, we see what America has done to us. And we see that a lot of people are not very respectful of not only what we have endured, but the pathway where we have opened up to them to come here. If it wasn't for us and our freedom struggle.
And let me stop right here. For some of you that don't understand why a lot of us who are foundational Black Americans are bringing this up, that some of our Black brothers and sisters around the world come to the country and do this, we're bringing it up because white folk use them. Okay. Because white folks, my time is getting close. Because white folks use them to undermine us. They know that we love and we accept everybody. So they know that even if you're somebody that's an immigrant Black person, they know we're going to love on you and give you credit. So instead, they give Kamala's position, high positions. Barack Obama, he's white and his daddy was from Africa. See, they believe in letting y'all come here to undermine us. Y'all come here and the white supremacists get to use your melanin against us. And then y'all's funny looking self, some of you, not all of you, but some of you come over here and you start to talk down to us. You left your countries in shambles. Some of you come from areas that look like my dog Frisky's former dog house, former dog, the dog I grew up with. The dog is dead now. Frisky, what's his name? You come over here and try to tell us what to do. You come over here and tell Black folk why we're losers and you couldn't make your own world work. Y'all come over here excited to take our place and our position, working with the white man and talking crazy to us and doing their bidding. You allow the enemy to use you and your skin and your melanin against us. That's why we're calling you out. Don't be trying to tell us, well, Marcus Garvey was Honey, Marcus Garvey had to leave the Caribbean because y'all was stripping in the Caribbean. He couldn't get you to act right. That's why he came to America, fool. And besides, that's the reason why America makes sure she don't let nobody that's got the energy of a Marcus Garvey back in the country. They look for some of y'all. They can pick up your spirits of raccoon, your spirits of bone and biscuit, your spirit of Aunt Jemima. That's why they approve your visas. They approve your paperwork. Because you send them a signal that you will be a good bootlick. You won't come over here and work with us on nothing black and revolutionary. We're not doing this because we're hating on our immigrant black brothers and sisters. We're saying you all are being willful tools for our open enemies. And you can't leave your homes and your little towns and stuff that look like my dog Frisky's little dog house. And come over here and try to tell black folk what to do when we created America. Talk black to me. I love my black brothers and sisters around the world. I'm a woman.
Brown people here. And so we see a lot of disrespect coming our way. So I think the people who criticize us need to also criticize the people who disparage us as well. I only see criticism coming in our direction.
Watch this.
How this kind of politics go.
Well, I think they're
deriding it. I mean, again, maybe all of this isn't part of the fundamental ideology, but it certainly plays out in the kind of primary space where ADOS conversations are happening, which is online, as much of our conversations are. So let's stipulate for a minute that there's a lot of outside criticism coming towards you that's unfair. And what do you say, though, about the criticisms that are being levied towards ADOS for these ideas around sort of being anti-immigrant, sort of this, not just sort of having critique of Pan-Africanism, but almost deriding it? I mean, again, maybe all of this isn't part of the fundamental ideology, but it certainly plays out in the kind of primary space where ADOS conversations are happening, which is on.
Do you all hear how he won't let that go? Didn't you just ask something similar to that fool? Do you all see? This is why we keep telling you all they're pushing other agendas. This is why I'm calling Marc, Lamont Hill, and others like him, Lil Musty, the contaminator. They're there to contaminate the black agenda to undermine us. Do you all see him trying to rework the same question? Do y'all see that? Do you see how he's not letting that go? Now, the thing I have, why would he be talking to Yvette about this? This is my thing with Yvette Carnell. Yvette, by the way, she did this long time ago. She been blocked me. She been blocked me a couple years ago. After I called for unity. I don't troll nobody. I'm not messy. But people know what to do. Somebody talk black to me. So when you can't handle it, that's what y'all do. Watch this. The thing about Yvette Carnell, family, I want y'all to listen to something. Thumbs up, family. Share. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Vicki X Dillard. Follow me on Instagram at Vicki X Dillard. Follow me on Twitter at Dillard Vicki. I want you to listen to this. Listen to this. Listen to this. Well, listen. Let's play a game. Let's play a game. I'm fixing to read a quote, and I want you to tell me who you think this quote is. Well, listen. I would tell anyone that I'm in favor of reparations, but reparations for me looks a lot like what Bernie Sanders defined. Reparations for me is massive investment in poor communities. And for me, the whole problem with Ta-Nehisi Coates and what he did to me was really intellectually bankrupt. Because what he's asking black people to do is follow this kind of identity politics, this kind of black identity politics. Everything has to be about us being black people as opposed to everything being about us being poor people, disproportionately poor people. And he wants us to follow down that road, which is really a road to nowhere, leads to a goose egg. Would somebody like to guess who said that? Not too long ago. Exactly right, lovely. Somebody said Simone Sanders. No, ma'am. Yvette Carnell. Let me read it again. Reparations for me is a massive investment in poor communities, because what he's asking Black people to do, to my Ta-Nehisi Coates, because Ta-Nehisi Coates was pushing for reparations a few years ago. Yvette Carnell got into a public spat in disagreement with reparations. Somebody said Kamala, somebody said Simone Sanders. No, that's a quote from Yvette Carnell. Listen to the quote, the rest of the quote again. Because what he's asking Black people to do is follow this kind of identity politics. This kind of Black identity politics. Everything has to be about being Black people, as opposed to everything being about us being poor people, disproportionately poor people. And he wants us to follow down that road, which really is a road to nowhere, leads to a goose egg. Marc Lamont Hill is interviewing someone that not only just disagreed with reparations, because there are some Black folks that disagree with reparations, not because they don't want us to get it, but because some of them couldn't see how it was possible, or they felt like the white people were too racist and too intransigent that they would never give it to us, right? No. Yvette goes further by saying he's asking Black people to, because what he's asking Black people to do is follow this kind of identity politics, this kind of Black identity politics. Everything has to be about us being Black people, as opposed to everything being about us being poor people. This wasn't just because she disagreed with reparations, because there's a lot of Black folks that have been led to believe that reparations is impossible. She had a problem with it being Black. Marc Lamont Hill interviews the person that said that not too long ago. Now, for some of you that say, well, she changed her mind. I know, fool. But why is it not too long ago, Yvette is still beefing with Ta-Nehisi Coates? Look what she says here on this tweet. Yvette says Ta-Nehisi Coates is supporting, this is 2019. She says Ta-Nehisi Coates is supporting a first step in the studying of reparations. He's not supporting reparations, and it is a cop-out for him to suggest otherwise. Girl, what? Watch this. Now let me read you another tweet from her, so you don't think I'm making this up. Because Yvette Carnell knew that she did the ultimate switch up. I said, because she did the ultimate switch up. When she was confronted about the switch up, look what she said. So we're going to relitigate my support for Bernie Sanders in 2016. She puts a yawning emoji next to it. She goes on. She says, and how pre-data I was in support of lifting the bottom vis-a-vis Bernie Sanders versus Hillary run. She said, we debated this in 2018. Y'all late. And Javier has been cyber stalking me forever. Wonder why? No, sis. How you gonna sit there and dog out other people, attack other Black men, when you weren't just against reparations? What is Yvette talking about in this tweet? Justifying her opposition to reparations and being for Bernie Sanders and other stuff. She's conflating all that together. When I just read you a quote from her where she wasn't just against reparations. She said, she called this Black identity politics. This kind of Black identity politics, everything has to be about us being Black people, as opposed to everything being about us being poor people, disproportionately poor. Now, boo, you weren't just enlightened about reparations. I don't know if it's because you like to date white women, but you were sitting out here talking about you was against this Black identity politics. This is who Marc Lamont Hill interviewed. And Marc didn't ask her how she came to Jesus on this. Marc didn't say, what was your aha moment that just happened the other year? Marc didn't say, how do you go from this beating up on other black men openly to publicly beefing with Ta-Nehisi Coates, who was pushing for reparations? Even though we may disagree about the way he says we should be compensated, he was at least on the record specifically saying black folk in America should be getting reparations. How is it that you go from publicly beefing with him to saying that you have a problem with black identity politics? Marc Lamont Hill didn't ask that question. I'm bringing that up to say, I'm not saying that black folks can't evolve and come around to pushing reparations now. That's not what I'm saying. But I think it's telling that she wasn't just against reparations. She had a problem with the black part of it. She was disgusted, and she repeated at least 3 or 4 times that this was black identity politics or some version of that. He didn't ask what brought that change. And you all know that some of us disagree with the fact that her and Tone was still telling black folks to do down ballot voting and all this other kind of stuff. And y'all seem to be all over the place. But then all of a sudden you went from publicly beefing against reparations and talking about, you call this black identity politics. And then when you were confronted about it, she plays it off and says, oh, look at the tweet again. So y'all don't think I'm making up nothing. Look what she says. So we're just going to relitigate my support. Yeah, we're going to relitigate it because we missed the litigation, the first litigation. We trying to understand what was why you had a problem with the black part of it. That's what we trying to understand. We trying to understand why they pushing y'all out there for this conversation on reparations when you got a whole sea of black grassroots that's been pushing this. Marc Lamont Hill, I submit to you, wants to be comfortable talking to somebody that's in the LGBTQ. If that's what you're part of, that's fine. I'm just simply saying, just admit there's some other stuff going on, Marc. She talking about we debated this in 2018. Y'all late. Well, we late. Tell us how the debate went. And then for her to say in the tweet, y'all, trying to justify her support by saying, and how pre-data, I was in support of lifting the bottom. What is she talking about pre-data? See, those of you that don't know how people trick you. What pre-data, Yvette? We don't need no data. We knew for 400-500 years slavery, we built America. What pre-data? What changed over the past 3 years? Couple 3 years before you did the switch. What data was new? I said our condition hadn't changed for hundreds of years. What is Yvette talking about when somebody asks her to basically qualify or explain at least? If you're going to come out and start fussing and hollering at everybody else that was against, it was the other day. We ain't talking about the 80s or the 90s or the early 2000s that you switched up, Yvette. I'm saying that there's a reason why Marc Lamont Hill is picking certain people to have this conversation with, is all I'm trying to say. And I'm saying I don't see where she was on the record giving a sound reason for the switch up. Again, don't get it twisted, family. There are some of my black family who honestly wasn't pushing reparations years ago because they were trying to see how was it viable. White folks are so racist. White folks are so intransigent. I could understand how some of you all were like, well, why would we be pushing it when they ain't even gonna pass it? We've got the momentum. You've got whole presidential candidates talking about what we, the black grassroots, have been pushing and supporting. And you've got people among us that's doing funny looking switch ups. They say they for reparations on the 1 minute, but then they sitting here attacking Vicki and pushing FBI links. Then they say on the one hand, well, we for reparations. On the other minute, they dogging out Dr. Claude Anderson, who's putting money up for reparations. On the one hand, they say they pro-black and they pushing, but on the other hand, they dogging some of the most prominent black scholars and black revolutionaries like Dr. Francis and like the Minister Farrakhan and stuff. I didn't say disagree. I said what I consider to be attacking. You haven't given us a good explanation for that. That's why I'm saying y'all look funny and suspect to me. That's all I'm saying. I don't throw around terms, family, just to be throwing around terms. You haven't heard me call anybody out of their names. I'm trying to show you there's a reason why little musty Marc and them are trying to make inroads amongst Black society. They got white people that's running the BNC, Black news organization, that network that Marc is on. They got a white Middle Easterner that put up the money. And they bringing on folks that's talking about things interrelated to stuff we're talking about in order, in my opinion, to undermine us. Talk Black to me. I got to get ready to go, family. Somebody said Vicki had the receipts. You know I do. You know I do. And I had to say this because this brother gonna tweet earlier, with all due respect, you know that ADOS gets all the heat from LAM, Harvard, CBC, NAACP members, Democratic Party, NCOBRA, CNN, and other media members. Reparations was a dead discussion until ADOS got involved. And the question is, who is ADOS, fool? We are. We were the ones pushing it. We were the momentum. They started a cute little catchy hashtag, and we was pushing the hashtag. But we've got to closely examine those that are among us now when it looks like y'all are starting to intertwine funny-looking agendas that seems to take away from the simple agenda of just cut the doggone check. And especially when you are on record as not just being against, you were full-throated against reparations. But then you were really ticked off that it had a specific Black element to it. Yes, I think that's suspect. Because you talking about you've been litigated when? I need to see the litigation. You talking about we've been debated, I need to see the debate. It might be a good explanation, but I ain't heard it or seen it. Meanwhile, this is not just about Yvette. I'm trying to get you all to see it's a reason that the funky looking Marc, Lamont Hills, the musties, the little musties of the world are picking certain people. They're trying to get their little numbers up over there at this purported little Black network. And they know the only way to do it is to use our talking points. But you better be careful who you pushing, family, because they may derail you. I said they may derail you. That's why this is important to talk about. Talk Black to me. I got to get ready to go, family. There's so much more that I could say, but I'm going to leave it here for now. Don't miss the Vicki Show. Family, I'm usually here Monday through Friday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. Like I said, I'm usually here Monday through Friday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. Shout out to our moderators in the building. Thank you for putting the links in the chat for us, especially the one about the replay. I told you I just had an amazing male-female webinar. I was breaking down for you all that the fight, the contention between the Black man and the Black woman is not just coming from what you can see with your eyes. There are some things that's coming down from the unseen that's causing the fighting between us. Are y'all hearing us? So during the webinar, I was breaking down some of the spiritual reasons, and I had the honor of having my brother Derek Jackson there, who came to speak to us and to give his testimony, to give a witness to some of the things that he has learned over the past, and even he said himself, the journey he's still on, the tumultuous situation he's still in. But I wanted to open up that door because when you're at war, Black family, with white supremacy, how dare you not want me to talk to my own Black brother when the Black man and the Black woman are also warring with each other? It was a powerful webinar. The response has been overwhelming. People were totally blessed. And if you want to get in on the replay, go to flynubianmastermind.com, flynubianmastermind.com. Shout out to Vicki Dillard fan page, moderating. Shout out to Jackson also. So family, make sure that you're doing that. Thumbs up this video, share. Follow me on Instagram at Vicki X Dillard. Follow me on Instagram at Vicki X Dillard. Follow me on Twitter at Dillard Vicki. Follow me on Twitter at Dillard Vicki. Family, thank you so much for tuning in. I know our schedule has been all over the place, but thank you for your patience with the Vicki Show. You all know, just check on a regular basis for my content. Love you so much. I bow to you. I'm your sister with the curly braids. I can't wait to see you again.